Yeah, I think you got it. All right. What's up, Doug?
Hi, how are you?
I'm happy to see you.
Are you having a good day?
Yeah, I'm having a good day. I just finished talking to Nisa Nevers, my fetish model friend, and she's the one I did the first podcast, the first interview that I ever did. And she says hi.
Hi.
I told her you're waiting for me, and she
Yeah.
said, "Say hi to Doug."
Oh, that was nice of her. Hello.
So,
So,
Doug, I don't know if you watch, the odd thing that pops up, but it's almost like if you weren't under a rock, everybody knows about the Will Smith, the slap that was heard around the world, is what they call it. Did you hear about that, Doug?
yes, yep. I heard about it. I
How did
watched a
you hear
little,
about it?
I watched a little clip of it on YouTube.
Yeah, it
Yeah, it
just
came
popped
up.
up because it was everywhere, right?
Yeah, I think it was on my Facebook feed or something like that. I watched it, or Instagram, one of those social media sites, and
I
I
saw it
checked
pop up
it.
on my Twitter, and then I was like, I saw the clip, and I was like, wait, what did I miss? I literally typed it. What did I miss? Was it an overreaction, or is he just a psycho? And then people were messaging me back or tweeting me back, and they said, well, Chris Rock made fun of his wife, which has alopecia, and said the G.I. Jane joke. And I said, yeah, I heard the joke, but that was a cause for somebody to go up on stage and punch them at a black tie event. What did you think, Doug?
I thought at first I thought it was fake. That's all
Well,
I thought.
I didn't think it was fake, because why I didn't think it was fake is because he had his arms around his back, like just kind of, just being proper. And, when you don't know what to do with your hands, you put it behind your back and you're in a public setting, doing a speech. And I saw that. And when he came up, I think he thought he was maybe just going to joke around with him or put his head in a headlock. I don't think he expected to get hit, because he did not have his arms prepared. And when you get hit, even if you know you're getting hit but subconscious, unless you're like into sadomasochism, then you usually are like this, almost like,
Yeah,
that's body language.
yeah.
And let's say like they totally faked it and they're like planned it. I think subconsciously, unless you've practiced and you're like a tough guy and you can take a hit, then you're gonna have some sort of like automatic reaction. Okay, do you think he would do that to not Chris Rock, but The Rock? I don't think so.
No, I think that he would not do that to anybody bigger than him.
What was your first reaction? Okay, besides that you thought it was fake and then you realized it wasn't fake, what was your reaction?
Well, when I started watching it again and again, and like just trying to check everything out, like paying really close
You were
attention.
studying it?
Yeah, I was paying attention to what was going on. I noticed he was laughing at first, and then he looked at his wife, and his wife wasn't happy. And that's when I thought, what a wimp! Like, he's making his wife regulate his emotions. You know what I mean? Like, he thought it was
Here's the
hilarious
thing.
too.
The funny thing is he didn't move his head, but like a guy, like she was sitting right here. So if you're a guy knows their wives, like right in the peripheral, like he could see her, and she was like this. And she made it dramatic too, to the point where she wanted her husband to know that she was not pleased. And he was laughing at first, and then it switched. And then he's like, here's what I was thinking. If I go home, I don't do something, she's going to be nagging at me and calling me names and saying I'm a bitch and all these things. I can't take that. What am I going to do? Well, I got to go on stage and I got to go slap the guy.
That's because he's a wimp. He's scared to go home. Like, I know I'm right about that.
Okay, I believe you. I think it is too, because if you really, I think if you're a real man, you wanted to fight a guy, you'd go, all right, this is it. We're going to have words or we're going to have a fight. You know, he didn't give him any kind of heads up. Like, don't you think you should give a heads up? Like, you slap somebody like that in the olden days, like in medieval times, then they'd be like, okay, this afternoon we're gonna have a duel.
It's like a sucker punch, but a little more feminine.
It's a sucker punch, but a little more feminine. I originally thought he punched him, but then when I saw the slow motion, his hand was open. And then even Chris Rock said he slapped the shit out of me. And that probably made really good television. But I think what he wanted to do was demean him. The thing is that he wasn't ready for it. So it kind of like was like a bitch sucker punch. And if you're a real man, I think you're going to have, okay, you take it, you say, okay, after this joke or whatever, maybe we're going to have words, you know, whatever. You don't go on stage, or you go at the end of the show, you say, look, man, my wife is pissed. So please don't make another joke of her. She can't handle it and I have to take it. You know what I mean? I have to take the shit.
Yeah.
Right. But then when he sat down, he said, don't keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. So he started to get like all gangsta, right? And meanwhile, he's the top actor. He's one of the top elites of all this stuff, which kind of pissed me off too, because it's kind of like the elites getting away with shit. I mean, Alec Baldwin, right? He shot a woman. He shot somebody who was working on his film. And so far he's getting away with it.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show.
Yes, exactly. Now, Doug, the other thing I wanted to show you, I wanted to ask you is, did you know what's also behind? Okay, first, let me back up just a little bit. Now, what kind of history could they have? Well, in 2016, Chris Rock also made another joke on stage when he was hosting the Oscars. And the joke was, he said, so Jada Pinkett Smith decided she was going to boycott the Oscars because she said, #Oscars too white, right? So she said that they were not representing enough brown people. And so she wanted to boycott them. Now she's there years later. And okay, so what Chris Rock was hosting, and he said, Jada Pinkett Smith boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's underwear. He goes, I wasn't invited. So the joke is she wasn't invited because she hadn't done a movie in a long time, right?
Right.
So she must have been pissed off. So she's an activist, right? So she's an activist, and this guy makes a joke on stage that she's boycotting, and she probably got pissed off. She's probably hated him ever since that.
Yeah.
Okay, guess what else that happened that night? So what else that happened? If you didn't watch the Oscars or watch more clips, you may have not have known another joke was made about Will Smith and his wife. Guess what that was?
No, let's hear it.
Okay. Well, what happened was, so a female comedian was on stage and said, let's bring up all the attractive single men in Hollywood on stage. So these guys who are single, they come on stage, and the last person she called was Will Smith. She goes, Will Smith. And then Will Smith was like, no, because he was sitting right beside his wife. Why would she call him up there? Guess what happened? Another background story of the Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith's relationship. Years ago, well, a couple of years ago, she came out with a YouTube video, a round table. And what happened is she aired her relationship with Will in public. And they said it was 4 years before, and I'll show you later, but 4 years before, what happened is she had an affair with a guy, August, who is a rapper, who was a friend of her son's. Okay. She had an affair with him. He was staying at the house. Now, by the way, he had a health issue, and Will Smith invited him to be allowed to stay there. And he was friends with his son. And she ended up having an affair while he was staying there. Now, she didn't invite him just in the house. Will Smith invited him in the house, but she didn't know they were going to have an affair. So they have an affair, and she likes to downplay it and call it an entanglement. Entanglement. She had an entanglement with August. Now, August, a rapper, she also brought him on the red carpet. She took him out in public. There are pictures on the internet and in magazines of Jada Pinkett Smith and August, and they call it Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith have a open relationship. Now they don't call it an open relationship. They call it, he says he doesn't want to tell her. She says, sorry, in this round table, she doesn't want anybody to tell her who she chooses to have sex with. She'll have sex with who she wants to have sex. And she also said in this round table that Will Smith doesn't please her in bed, in public. Okay, I don't know what else is more demasculating, like to demasculate your husband in public on a YouTube video.
And he stayed with her and stuck up for her at the Oscars.
He calls her his soulmate, and he came out with a story about his past. And when he was a little child, he wrote a thing in his book that he watched his father beat his mother. Now, it's a very sad story, and it kind of makes me feel like that is where the real psychology lies, because he may have not have acted out before, but triggering, if you add up this piles up, where is his breaking point? He did not look well. He did not look the way composed. Maybe if you write your memoirs, because I'm writing my memoirs, that maybe it brought up emotions that he hasn't fully dealt with. Sometimes when you bring it up, it's like an explosion, but it doesn't mean it's already gone. It means that it's going to take some time to deal with that as you made it surface. So he said, "I'm sorry to the Academy and my nominees," but he didn't say sorry to Chris Rock. And he said this, and then he's crying. He has tears. I gotta show it to you. Again, I'm gonna show you some clips. You want to see some clips, Doug, or do you want to say
I would love to see some clips.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna show you some clips. Okay.
Yeah.
And you tell me what you think of them. All right, hold on a second. Of Chris Rock. Okay. Okay, here's the slap. Whoa. See, if you slow that down, that's more than a slap. That's more than a joke slap. That is borderline punch.
He's a child. Will Smith is a child.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, and see that fake tears? No, he was unhinged. He wasn't well because he's been doing his memoirs, and he's not well. The point is this is your peer, and there is absolutely a tradition of a comedian roasting the actors. That's a tradition at the Oscars, and that's what's going to happen. And he didn't even do that bad of a joke. Now, the other thing that happened, okay, so Chris did not press charges, but that doesn't mean he's not going to sue him, and that doesn't mean he's happy with it later. And Chris, Will Smith made a full statement the next day. He didn't do it on stage. He apologized to everybody else except for Chris on stage, but he didn't. He apologized to him on Instagram publicly. As soon as he sees his wife rolls her eyes, that's what happened. Now here, let's just hear this guy, Jim Carrey. Now he was a crazy anti-Trumper, and he was doing paintings, and he was supposedly off his mind, but he sounds very sound, and he makes total sense. And probably Hollywood is going to hate him for this, but this is what he says.
Like, Hollywood is just spineless en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
Jim Carrey weighing in on Will Smith's Oscar controversy during a new interview with Gayle King for CBS Morning.
They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said, no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous.
Jim Carrey was on hand promoting his new movie, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but yeah, he made it clear how he felt about Will Smith's actions on Monday night.
You do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
Since Sunday night,
Yeah.
the Academy
Well, the
has
left
announced
really
that
thinks that you can hit anybody in the mouth if they said words.
apologizing to Chris Rock, saying in part, quote, I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I was embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. On Sunday, extras spoke to many stars who also weighed in on Will's behavior. You watched the show. I'm sure you saw the moment everyone is talking about between Chris and Will. Your thoughts?
I don't condone violence. I just don't see any reason for it. I do know that if you're going to have any comedian and the rest of the show, everyone was being ridiculed in some way. The only difference was, I think if you're a celebrity and you're in there, that's going to happen. Maybe, this was his wife, so it was different. But I'm not sure you run up and punch someone in the face.
If you remember, Chris hosted the Oscars, and brilliantly. I mean, I just remember it was just kind of like better than anyone. And Chris is a genius comic that has been doing it for many, many decades. And the premise being that these indeed are jokes.
Do you think as a comedian, though, you should ever worry about needing to be censored?
I think anytime, Chris is one of those comics that he and Chappelle are the GOATs. And they're like the youngest, oldest comics in the world. They've been doing this since they were kids. And I think, the contract you set up with the audience is that these are indeed jokes and we have to embrace our freedom of speech.
So, Doug, what do you think of what I've showed you?
I think despite all the facts in the past, things that happened in the past, I think he still should have been a man and not hit him. He should.
Yeah.
Things happen to everybody in their past. That people have been in violence in their past and stuff like that, and have had affairs and all of that. It doesn't give you the right to go up and hit somebody and use it as an excuse to hurt somebody just because you had a bad past and you wrote a book about it a year ago.
I think honestly, Chris got the brunt of whatever he's going through. Like, I don't think it's right. I really don't think it's right. And I think what happened is that Chris accidentally, which he should have apologized when he apologized to the rest of the Academy, when he was receiving his award, and he didn't. If he apologized then, maybe you'd be like more sympathetic. I can't be sympathetic because he didn't apologize then. He apologized to everybody else, but
He
not
wasn't even really
him.
triggered. Yeah, but he wasn't even really triggered because he was laughing at the joke.
Exactly. And that's why I think he only did what he did because he was afraid to go back home and his wife demean him. She's already said in public he doesn't please her, and he wants to please her. He says he will die trying to please her. Like, I get that you love somebody, but if that person treats you like crap, then you have to know that person is treating you like crap.
Mhm.
So what do you think as a guy, Doug?
I think that he should. I think he should leave her real quick. I wonder. I'm
I don't
curious.
think he's going to.
I'm curious if they have a prenuptial agreement. Like, is he scared to leave her because she gets half his stuff?
That could be a Tom Cruise thing. You know, Tom Cruise did that. You can ask me anything. Doug, do you have any questions?
No. No.
How do you feel about what happened? You asked me, would you like to talk about the slap? I said, oh, well, I have tons of information about the slap.
You sure did.
And you thought it was just going to be a 20-minute quick video of the slap. No, let me tell you some background. You don't know who you're asking. Do I know about the slap?
Just a quick little chat.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, we got the full podcast, but I'll make some edited clips and stuff like that and edit things in. I didn't edit the other one in because I'm working on it, but I'm a procrastinator. So I did procrastinate, and I apologize with that, but I will edit clips and give it to you, but you have the long version as well.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Love you, Doug.
I love you too. Okay. Good night.
Bye.